I'd be glad to explain the provided Arduino code for drawing a continuous rhombus with a stepper motor controlled by an Arduino Nano CNC shield. Code breakdown. Pin definitions. DDRB equals 4, sets data direction register B, controls pin mode, to control pin 4 for motor enable. PORTB equals 5, sets port B, controls pin output, to control pin 4. DDRD equals 10, sets data direction register D to control pins 2, 3, 5, and 6 for stepper motor direction and step signals. PORTD equals 11, sets port D to control pins 2, 3, 5, and 6. Individual pin definitions. PB0 equals 0, PB0, pin 4, as motor enable. PD5 equals 5, PD5, pin 10, as motor X step. PD2 equals 2, PD2, pin 7, as motor X direction. PD6 equals 6, PD6, pin 11, as motor Y step. PD3 equals 3, PD3, pin 8, as motor Y direction. Init function, SBI DDRB PB0, sets PB0, motor enable, as output. SBI DDRD PD2, PD5, PD3, PD6, sets motor direction and step pins as outputs. CBI PORTB PB0, clears PB0, initially disables motors. Loop function, main loop. CBI PORTD PD5, sets motor X direction low, counterclockwise. Call turnx, calls the turnx function to rotate motor X. SBI PORTD PD6, sets motor Y direction high, clockwise. Call turny, calls the turny function to rotate motor Y. Repeats the above two steps to complete a rhombus side. rjmp loop, jumps back to the beginning of the loop for continuous execution. Turnx function, motor X rotation. LDIR21, 3, loads the number of steps, 3, for motor X into register R21. Turn 1, label, calls stepx, calls the stepx function to perform one step for motor X. DEC-R20, decrements a counter, likely not used in this code. BRNE turn 1, branches back to turn 1 if the counter is not 0, effectively ignored. DEC-R21, decrements the step counter, R21. BRNE turn 1, branches back to turn 1 if there are more steps to perform. RET, returns from the turnx function. Turny function, motor Y rotation. Similar structure to turnx, but rotates motor Y in the clockwise direction using PD6, pin 11. Stepx function, motor X step. SBI PORTD PD2, sets motor X direction pin high, counterclockwise. RCall pulse, calls the pulse function to generate a pulse for the step motor. CBI PORTD PD2, sets motor X direction pin low. RCall pulse, calls the pulse function again for another pulse. RET, returns from the stepx function. STEPy function, motor Y step. Similar structure to stepx, but controls motor Y step using PD3, pin 8. Pulse function, pulse generation. LDIR17, 3, loads the delay value, 3, into register R17. PLS, label. DEC-R16, decrements a counter, likely not used in this code. BRNE PLS, branches back to PLS if the counter is not 0, effectively ignored. DEC-R17, decrements the delay counter. BRNE PLS, branches back to PLS if there's more delay. RET, returns from the pulse function, presumably creating a short delay. Overall functionality. The code sets up the Arduino Nano to control a stepper motor via the CNC shield. The loop function continuously executes, calling turnx and turny to rotate the motor in a way that likely draws a continuous rhombus pattern.